Hello students. So now we are going to continue the last class sessions. So now we are going to enter little more tricky things in our transformations. So here as you can see my screen, uh, uh, you can see here order of transformations. So you can find out one object which is placed over in the coordinate system, that is in x-axis, y-axis. You can see a square box here. Okay, so now what I want is, you can see from this diagram that I have just given the rotations of this much of angle. So I have gone through, this is my x dash, because I have given the rotations over here. Okay, so this became your x dash. I'll just mark it so that it will be easy for you. So this is the rotations I'm giving. Okay, so this is my angle. So now as I'm moving x to x dash, so it has to move from y to y dash also. Okay, so this is my rotations here. Once the rotation has done, what I have done is, I have given the coordinate system. I have just moved the coordinate system from here to here. So what I have used here, the translation. Okay, so here I have transferred my object from one coordinate place to another coordinate place. So here you can see I have applied rotation also and translation also. Fine. So I have already told you how you are going to apply the equations, how you are going to write. The same thing you are going to write over here. So now here one more thing you can see, the difference you can find out. So here I have x and y axis. So here where I have an object, first I have translated the object x dash and y dash, and then I have given the rotations. Okay, so I have made the rotations in the green color. So from these, both the things, what you have understood, you have understood that matrix multiplication does not commute. Okay, so the order of transformation makes a difference, because whenever you will do first rotation then translation, whatever the matrix you are going to get, there will be a difference if you do the first translation and then you rotate. So this is a difference between the order of your transformations, how what you are doing. Okay, it will have the difference. So now let's move to the next slide. So here you can see, so first pre-multiplication, we'll just check it out. What is that? Suppose I have the global coordinates of mn, and if I want to find out the p dash, first what I will do, so I'm just going to prove whatever I have told you here. I'm just going to prove it. Okay, so here you can see I have given the sequence of my global coordinates, and I have multiplied it with my initial point. So if I'll go back, so first if I'll consider it as mn, or else you can consider from m1 to mn. So that global coordinates I'm going to multiply with p. So I'll get the value of p dash. But if my post multiplication, what I'm going to do is, I have to consider this m value as your local coordinate system, and then I'm going to multiply with my initial coordinate value. So here there will be a difference. Here it has been started from mn to m1, but here it has been started from m1 to mn. Okay, so this is a difference in between your pre-multiplication and post-multiplication. So if you want to use this post multiplication of your any transformation matrix, you should use your OpenGL primitives. If you want to rotate, you have to use GL rotate. If you want to scale, you have to use GL scale. If you want to translate, you have to use GL translate in the same way. Okay, so here always you have to take your transformation in a very local coordinates. Okay, if you are taking in global coordinates, then you have to use the reverse order. So now here you see I have the local transformation. I'll just clarify you what is the meaning of your local transformations and global transformations. So here you can see my x and y. I have one object over here. So now what I have done, I have just translated. So I will use the primitive GL translate. Next, what I'm going to do, I have rotated. So I'm just going to use the GL rotate. Okay. So this is known as your local transformations. The interpretations, whatever you are using, this is known as your local transformation. So you are going in this way. First translation, then rotations. Now let's see what you mean by global transformations. So in global transformation, I have told you that we have to go in a reverse order. How? First, this is your x and y coordinate system. Then next you are going to rotate it. So first what you are going to do? You are going to rotate it. Next what you are going to do? You are going to translate. So you are going in a reverse order. So that is a difference in between your local transformation and your global transformations. Now next, if you want to put everything in your matrices, then how it will look like. So now here you can see I have taken the current the new coordinate point as p dash and my initial point as p. So I'm just going to multiply it. So what will happen? So here you can see I have used the translations, I have used scaling, I have used the rotation also. All the three things in a general way, suppose I have used, then how my matrix will look like. How you are going to do is, first you know that I should put the translation matrix. Okay, so if I'll put translation matrix, which field has to be filled up. So this is a way how to remember this matrix. So you have to just do a 3x3 matrix. Then you just add over here translation matrix x-axis, translation matrix y-axis. Okay, so I have used my translations. Next, suppose if you want to use your rotations. So for your rotations, you need these four things, right? These four coordinates. So this is your rx, this is your ry, this is your this is your rx, then again this is your ry, this is your ry. Why we are writing this xx xy? You have remembered we have used cos theta sin theta, but here instead of that we are using this coordinate values just to find out in general way how it will look like. So that only I have written. Now if I'll consider about the scaling thing, so where and all I should put, I have to write here wherever the s is there. Okay, then you can write in your homogeneous coordinates the 1, and in your adjacent matrices here you are going to write 1. So in that way you will get your value of your x dash. How you are going to get? So rsxx, okay, into x, then plus rsxy into y here, okay, plus trsx into 1. So you are going to write this one. So it means that you are going to multiply each of the coordinate values with everyone. Then y dash will be rsyx into x, rsyy into y, trsy into 1. So you are going to add all these things. You will get your value of x dash and y dash. So this is a matrices of your general way. So here you can see it has been notified also. Rotations and scaling, you need to use this much. Then for your translation, you are going to use this much. Okay, so here you are going to get your rotation matrices and scaling matrices, and here you are going to get your translation matrices. Whatever is there, you can see over here by multiplying your x, y, and 1. Now here you see direct construction of matrix. How you are going to do? So if you suppose if you want to target any frame, how you are going to construct your matrix directly? Okay, so here you have to define that what will be your local coordinates. So let's take our local coordinate system is u and v. So now I have to use the matrix transformations. So how I'm going to put it? So here you can see I have the box over here, and this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. I have just translated, and now I have taken this one as my pivot point. So on that point, I have rotated it. Okay. So here I have used a translation, then rotations. How I'm going to write it? So now you have to find out that on what coordinates it's present. Here it has been given the local coordinates, that is your u and v. So now here they have given the distance also. So if you have to find out the distance for the new coordinate points, first you have to write p dash will be equals to a into u plus b into v plus translation matrix t. Okay, so this is your formula. So now how I am going to represent? So P dash will be equals to X, Y, and 1. And here I have A, B, and T. Okay. Then you are going to write this coordinate, local coordinate values. That is your U, V and 1. So you are going to write in this way. So now if I want to represent everything in your X and Y coordinate system in another way, how I can write? I'll just write this 1 cross 1 matrix into 3 cross 3 matrix like this. So here the first one is my X axis, right? Then Y axis, then Z axis. So AX, BX, TX, AY, BY, TY, then homogeneous, which this coordinate values will be 1. So 0, 0, 1. So here you can see Tx and Ty means I have just translated because I have T here, right? So I have to add this value. So that is the reason I have added here. So that value also I got in terms of my translation. So that is the way. So now suppose in the same way, now I have to apply the rotations because once I have translated, I have to do the rotations. So remember, whenever I will do the rotations, I have to use the orthogonal things. And here as it is 90-degree, I will call it as your orthonormal submatrix because this is a matrix. From here I am going to find out one more matrix. That is the reason I will call it as my submatrix. And as it is forming your 90-degree angle, we will call it as your normal. So here in this orthographic view, you are getting your normal 90-degree. That is the reason I will call it as my orthonormal submatrix. Which one will be orthonormal submatrix? The rotational values, okay? Whatever is there in your rotational values, that we will call it as your orthonormal submatrix. Now let's write the matrix. So for this, as usual, x, y, and 1. And this one, the vectors has already given u, v, and 1. So here, the translation matrix is already written. So I have to add only the rotational matrices. So rotational matrices with both the coordinate points, I have to write rxx. Here you write ryy. Here you just write as it is a x coordinate values. You just add x, then y. As it is a y coordinate, you just write first y, then x, then your homogeneous values. So this is your matrices. It is very easy to remember. It's not at all difficult. So now what is the value of your A you got? I told you the first component will be your A. So the value of your A, if I'll consider it in a 2D plane, so it will be Rxx, then in the below Ryx. You can see here. And what about your B? Rxy, then in the below Ryy. This is the matrix. Now, here, if the modulo of your A equals to 1, because we have called it as already normal, so as it is a normal, so A dot B has to be equals to 0. So that's why we are calling it as your identical matrices and we are forming it as your orthonormal submatrix. That's the reason we have written the dot product will be equals to 0. Okay, so now here you can see the notifications, that is only for rotations. Now this is for your translations. Okay, so here you can see. Now moving to the next one. Here we will see the other 2D transformations as I have discussed, reflection and shearing, how it can be combined. So here you know that reflections, if I'll consider the reflections on your x-axis, then this value is going to be reflected like this. So x dash, the new coordinate value will be equal to your x, but y dash will be in your negative direction. That will be minus y, because you can see this value, this coordinate is constant, but this y has changed to this side downward. That is the reason it became minus y. If I will represent it in the matrix form, then in the x-axis, it will be 1, 0, 0. But in your y-axis, it will be your negative. Then in your homogeneous coordinate values multiplied with your initial coordinate system. The same thing, if you want to reflect over your origin, then how it will be? You can see both the axes got changed. The x-axis became to this side, left side. So it will be minus x. Y dash also, y-axis also became downside. So it will be minus y. So how to represent in your P dash? In your P dash, the x coordinate values will be minus 1, y coordinate values will be minus 1, and z coordinate value will be as usual. That is a homogeneous coordinates. So how we can write it as Here you can see as it has been translated in a proper straight line, you can consider the theta value as 180 degree. So here instead of theta, it has been written 180 degree. So this is known as your reflect over origin. Now how to do the shearing? So now you can see the object is present here. So if I want to do the shearing on y-axis, then my new coordinate value will be, you have to add your fy value with your x coordinates, and the y dash will be same because we are doing the shearing on your y-axis. So how I'm going to write the matrix? So in your matrix form, the diagonal values will be 1, and here it is going to change it to f, okay, where this f value will be your tan theta. We'll see how much the value, it depends on the angle. Now suppose you can see as it is a tan theta, it's just tilted because we have to tilt always in your shearing as it has been already tilted. So we are going to get the some around, you can see 45 degree, otherwise 30 degree, whatever the theta value you are giving. So that much of value is going to be tilted. Okay. Here you can see the tilted value of your theta. Now here you can see the transformation coordinates. If anything has given in your xy coordinates, then if you have to find out your x dash y dash coordinates, then how you are going to do? Here you have to reverse the route as your object transformation. Here this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. So now in the same straight line, if I'll keep the object, that will be my x-axis, this one, right? This line you can see here. But what happened here? It has been tilted. So this is my origin point. This is my origin point. I have transformed my origin point here. So I will give the name as x0 comma y0. As this has been little tilted, so how much the angle? This is a angle. You can say the rotation also. That is my theta angle. So now in this example, you have to find out the local coordinates. How you are going to find out? Here is the object, right? So this is the point. So how you are going to do? If I'll consider this point and touch to my x and y axis, it looks like this. So now what you are going to do? The same thing, if I will put it in my the tilted position of x dash and y dash coordinate, it will be like this much. Can you see here? This much line x and y coordinate system. So here what happens is in your given x axis, it has been given as your x and y coordinates. But if you have to find out your x dash, then in that time you have to change the transformations from your local coordinates to your global coordinates. So now I have to find out this x value. So I have to multiply m into x dash, and here as you can see here, we have to use the inverse transformation. So why I have used, you can see the point is in the same as it is tilted. So x dash will be equals to m inverse x because we are going to change it. So now how to do that? So we are changing here from global coordinates to the local coordinates. There are some approaches. The first approach will be you have to determine the standard matrix, which is known as your M, from your local to global coordinates, and then you are going to invert it. Okay. So now another one is also there. First you construct your transformation, then you are going to map the local frame to the global frame. As usual, the reverse. So how we are going to do? So in your approach 2, what has been given here? The local frame to global frame, and then reverse. So first you translate the origin. This is the origin x0 to y0. First you translate, then you rotate. So these two things we can do over here. So if I will do that, if I will do the translation, my x0 and y0 will be negative because it is a m inverse. Then r value also will be minus theta because I'm going to find out m inverse. If I will take as only m, then negative values won't be there. So that is a way of finding out your inverse coordinate system. Okay, so that also can be accumulated in your question. So you have to see and you have to do the answer. So now here you can see some OpenGL 2D transformations where internally we can use the 4 element row vectors. So here the transformations will be for 4 cross 4 matrices. So for your 2D coordinates, you have to ignore your Z coordinates because it will be having only X and Y axis. So you are going to say the value of your Z will be 0. So here it will maintain the two matrices. The first one will be your GL underscore projection and the next one will be GL underscore model view. So when I will apply all these things, how it will be looking like how it's going to be. So now here you can see GL matrix mode. I have to use a GL underscore projection, or you can use GL matrix mode, GL underscore model view. So this is my primitive I have to use whenever I will go for my projection or model view. Okay, I think you people have already seen this kind of primitives in your program. So in this way, we are going to use it. So another thing also we used to use in our OpenGL 2D transformations, that is your load identity. So here load identity in the sense you are going to initialize the matrix to I or 1. Okay, you are going to initialize it to the 1. So if I will replace all the matrix with M value, and if suppose I want to fill in 4 cross 4 matrix, so I have to go for 16 values, right? 4 cross 4 in the sense 4 into 4 16. So you can declare it as your GL float or anything. Okay, so this is here I'm showing you that how you are going to write it in a matrix form. So if you want to write in a matrix form, how you will write? So you are going to write in this way. Then fill primitive also you can use. Then GL load matrix, whatever the 2D 3D whatever you are using are going to write. Then M. So this is the way of writing all the matrix form. Okay, this here you can see if you want to use a translations, what is the primitives, you are going to use GL translate. Then instead of star you have to use the 2D or 3D something, then TX TY TZ. If you want to rotate over theta degree, then you have to write GL rotate. Then inside the bracket you have to specify the angle, or you can write theta. Then the things Vx Vy Vz or Rx Ry Rz, all these things. If you want to scale with factors, then you have to use a primitive GL scale Sx, Sy and Sz. Now here you can see the OpenGL 2D transformation, some more things where we are going to maintain the stacks of transformation matrices. We have two operations. One will be your GL push matrix, another one will be GL pop matrix. Okay, so in GL push matrix, you will have the copy of your current matrix and which you are going to put on the top of your stack. So the current matrix will be equals to top. And in your pop matrix, you are going to remove the top element of the stack. That you have to remember. Whatever the current matrix will be present, that you are going to remove. So here it is very easy to handle also, it's not difficult. So now in a standard way and in a matrix way, here it has been in a stack way, here it has been the representations. You can use the GL rotate, the values you can give, GL scale values, GL translate values, glot where cube, where the cube will be whered. And if you want to use the inverse, you can write GL translate directly, give the inverse values. GL scale, you can give the values. GL rotate, the first one will be your angle value, and then you can represent. And if you want to use a stack, then also you can use the same thing by writing GL push matrix. Then you write rotate, scale and translate so that it can form a matrix. And if you want to pop the values of your top element, you can write down GL pop matrix. Okay, so this is a way of using the matrix form. Here this is a standard form, and here we are generating the matrix. You can mark all these terms in your program. Okay, so here you can see this is your undo transformation, or you can say that like inverse transformations. So now here, I'm just going to summarize your 2D transformation wholly, whatever we have studied. We have studied the modeling things, the viewing, the animation things, how we can transfer the objects. We have learned many transformations, the variety types of transformations, and also with that, we have learned the homogeneous coordinates. And lastly, we have seen the combination of all the transformation by using the matrix multiplication. So with all this, your 2D transformation topics gets over. I hope you people have understood. So keep practicing your combining transformation exercises. It will helpful for you to achieve the marks in the exam. Thank you.